Welcome, fans, once again to KB's Unemployed Show, the only show on the internet where you can sit at your job and watch a guy who doesn't have one anymore. What will KB do today? Change guitar strings, perhaps? Grade papers? Worry about his future? Who knows? The only thing we know is it's guaranteed to make you question your intelligence, simply because you're watching it. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the unemployed lifestyle of KB.
The pods are now open.
Look at my cat. Look at my cat. Look. Look.
I like to study about the world cities and airports.
KB brings just great instincts. That's what you love about him.
Oh, that boy ain't right.
If Andy yearns for Brenda and Brenda cares about Charlene, who pines for Andy, the three of them form one of these. Kara.
What is it, threesome?
No.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
Lesbians. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
I don't mind a bit of bush.
37 in a row? Shut the f*** up, okay? Shut the f*** up.
Do you want to start drinking?
Yes.
You know, I'm going to have to go for 420, Bob.
Cheez-Its! Cheez-Its! Cheez-Its!
Light this candle.
He's right. Let's light this candle.
Light the candle.
Are you ready for it?
The candle is lit, folks. It is KB's Unemployed Show. I am on day 59 of unemployment. I believe it's 59, somewhere in there, 57, 58, 59. It all blends into one, really, when you think about it, when you're unemployed. One day just rolls into the next. But I guess I'm semi-employed because I am teaching. I have class again tomorrow. But like any good teacher, I periodically schedule guests to come in, just take some of the take some of the work off your shoulders is exactly what it does. But I have a guest coming in tomorrow who I may have as a guest on this show because she is an amazing photographer. And her name is Anna Gracie Photo on Instagram. And she's an amazing photographer, and she wants to be a concert photographer. And she was in my class 2 semesters ago. And it was last semester. She was in my class last semester. And I was, we just have conversations, myself and the students, and ask about, what they like, what their interests are. And I do always ask, why are you in college? And, she said there was something that, it was important to her dad and so on and so forth. And then let me just adjust this. There we go. Important to her dad and her family. And I said, well, that's fair enough. Right. And then I asked her what her hobbies were. And she said photography. And I said, oh, she goes, yeah, concert photography. And she showed me her Instagram, at which she showed me her Instagram, and I looked at 2 pictures and just said to her, why are you even here? Because I go, that's your life's calling right there, your photography. So it's at Anna Gracie Photo. Let me just put a banner up so you can see it. And it's on Instagram. And if you go look her up, I think I'm going to have her on, like I said, in the next couple of weeks. And if I do, see, I should have, there we go. If I do have her on, I'll show some of her, but it's Anna Gracie Photo. That's on Instagram, and you want to go look her up. Her photography is absolutely amazing. And last year, she wanted to be a photographer for Summerfest, and she ended up being one of the staff photographers. And she came by, and she took some shots of KB and the Dungarees. So gratis. But so I have a good guest speaker tomorrow, and it's great when you see a young person find their calling like that. I don't know if she continued to be in school, but I certainly hope she kind of bailed because she is really, really good. And then, for the rest of the show today, I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to be going because one of the things that this show cannot replicate anything that was done in my previous existence. As you can see, KB's Unemployed show is not affiliated with any local, regional, or national media outlet or media personality who I may or may not have done a show with in the past 30 years. Nor is it intended to replicate any show I have done or appeared on. I'm not compensated for this. So, the show is going to be different. And that's all I'm trying to do is be a little bit different. And one thing that is different, I was trying to think of what to do today. And if you look at the headline, it says, I wasn't high before the show started. And it's 25 milligram seltzer day. Right there. We got the Belize Breeze. Okay. Mixed berry, Belize Breeze, sparkling water. And I couldn't do this on the air. I would not be able to do this on the air. But I figured, we're just going to throw back a THC. This thing is slipping. We're just going to throw back a THC seltzer. And let's see where the show goes. It could go totally off the rails. It could be one of the most interesting and introspective shows that you could possibly imagine. So, but I have no idea where it's going to end up. So, as we usually do, let's start with today's news headlines, the headlines of the day. The Olympics are underway. The Olympics opening ceremonies are supposed to start on Friday, the opening ceremonies, but the actual Olympic Games are underway. And I was hanging out watching a little today, curling at the Cortina Ice Center. It was mixed doubles curling. So I was taking it a little Finland, Great Britain curling. And I'm a big fan of curling. I'm a big fan of the Canadian women's team. Rachel Holman's team, chef's kiss. But I was watching a little curling, and that is a sport that I think anyone who gets to be, it's one of those sports where you go, that looks like it would be a lot of fun to do. And it probably is. But the problem with curling is we kind of forget that you have to bend down quite low. As a matter of fact, you have to slide on ice and that whole crouching move. There is no way on God's green earth after 2 hip replacements that I am ever in a million years going to be that I'm never in a million years going to be curling. Okay, I'm back now. I'm back now. Now I'm back. Okay. Because I'm simply not getting down that far, much less sliding across the ice and then rolling a 30-pound rock. But these folks are kind of incredible in watching them do that. But that's one of those sports where you don't know how hard it is until you actually try it. Now, I have not tried it. I don't know if we have any curlers out there in the audience. I have not tried it. I have been to curling matches, if you will. It's not the same when you're watching it from a profile view as it is from overhead. You really can't tell anything unless you're playing. But they used to have, at Ozaki Country Club, they used to have a curling club. And I don't remember exactly what night it was of the week, but that was a place you could go and see champions of industry curling, because it was a place they could go out and have a couple of pops and no one would see them. And so you go out and watch curling. Now, they do have a little handle that looks like a big door handle, and it's got sliders on it, or a big cabinet handle that if you can't get all the way down, you can hold yourself up with that as you release the rock. But I have watched curling. I know they have curling in Wauwatosa at the Wauwatosa Curling Club, but I have not curled. But for some reason, when curling comes on with the Olympics and the Winter Olympics, I am drawn to it. I don't know why. There's a lot of other things that you could do, a lot of other things, more exciting things that you could watch. But curling is something that I just get absolutely enamored with. I do recall the last time the Winter Olympics were held, and that might have been, maybe it was 2 Olympics ago, when they had the guy from Madison, not Jeff Hamilton, but it was the Hamiltons. They had the brother and sister out of Madison, and that team, the men's team, made a run for a medal. And it was one of those weird things that America rallied behind them. And I do recall being it's not Scott Hamilton, Jacob. He was a figure skater. It was the guy with the mustache. I remember it being at O'Donoghue's when we were watching it, because, the Olympics were held where were they held last year? Beijing? The Winter Olympics? I don't know, but the timing worked out that if you wanted to watch curling live, it was in the middle of the night. So basically, we were out at OD's and we're watching curling, and the next thing you know, it's bar time. Lights go down, doors get locked, shutters get pulled, and there's probably about a dozen of us who sat around and watched curling till about 5 a.m. But it is one of those things that is incredibly addictive. Now, my wife is super excited for the Olympics. This is she loves these 11 days. Now, she loves the Summer Olympics more than the Winter Olympics. Well, she ran track, so that is more her style. I'm more of a Winter Olympics guy, and but she just loves it from the opening ceremonies to the closing ceremonies. It doesn't matter what you're watching. She watches it, which is great because I think everyone is looking at the figure skating, but I don't even know who the American figure skaters are. I've kind of lost touch with that. The American figure skating, not the men's and the women's figure skaters, were almost like boxing champs, right? They were almost like the world champ, boxing champ. You don't remember everyone who was Matt Hamilton. Thank you, Jacob. You don't remember necessarily everyone who was competing, but you remember who the champion was. And so you can go back. You can go all the way back to Nancy Kerrigan and Brian Bottano and Johnny Weir and Michelle Kwan. And somewhere along the line, though, it kind of lost a little bit of its luster. Sarah, that redheaded girl, Sarah something. And so I don't even know who the big American couple is now. But I know I'm going to get fired up for it by watching the new documentary on the 1980 Olympic hockey team. And everything that I've heard about it is, if you don't, getting there. If you don't, if you don't cry during it, if you don't get weepy, if you don't love America by the time this documentary is over, then there's something wrong. Ben in the 414, we've noticed ice rinks that are used for curling have softer ice than a hockey only rink. I can see that. I don't know why. Belize breeze blowing in on the wind. I can see that because you have to have really, really hard ice to skate. You can't have soft ice. You'll kill yourself. Because your edges, if you have sharp edges, they'll grip the ice, and you're in big trouble if that happens. I saw a kid spiral fracture his femur. And my son was playing, and he was right by the kid. He caught it. He got hit in the shoulder and his blade stuck. And my son said it was the most disgusting sound that he ever heard, because it was just like, like you could just hear it snapping. But that was, part of the problem was it was soft ice and that edge catches. But the 1980 Winter Olympic hockey team is, I still think that's the greatest single Olympic event, and at least in my lifetime. And if I were to look at, I might look at that. I might look at Dan Jansen's third Olympics after falling two in a row, so going 8 full years before he got a medal. That was a pretty incredible moment. But it's hard to pass up the 1980 Olympic hockey team. Now, I have worn the 1980 medal from that hockey team. And I think it's a good story. I was booked with my friend Bobby Rouse, and I don't know if you're from down around here, but Bobby was the lead singer of Rhythm Method, and then the Styx tribute band Light Up, an incredible vocalist, and super nice guy, right? And we were doing a duo shows, and we got hired to play a party at Mark Johnson's house, which was like cool as hell. Right. And I was like, this is like the coolest thing ever, because if you're a hockey fan, if you're a Wisconsin sports fan, I mean, you got to be a Mark Johnson fan, right? And we were there playing under a patio. So we had a house, he was in the backyard that kind of had it was a beautiful day, so they didn't have a tent. Right. And so spread out in the backyard is where everyone was hanging out. And then they had one of those exposed basements, and then the deck would have been over you. And we were playing underneath that. And then the patio door was right to my left. So we're playing, and Bobby is a big, big hockey fan. Right. So what we would do is we'd play a handful of songs together. Then one guy would take a break and the other guy would play solo. Then the next guy would come in, so you could have a break. As I'm playing alone, because Bobby takes time off, it's his time off, and he goes and he walks into the house. And so I'm playing on the back patio, and the patio door is right to my left. And I look over in the middle of the song, and I see Bobby standing there. And Bobby is standing there, and he's wearing the Olympic medal. He's got the 1980 freaking hockey team gold medal on around his neck. And he's like, look at this, dude, look at this. Now I'm going crazy, because all I can imagine is that Bobby went into the house, started rifling through stuff, and found it. And was like, come on, look what I found. Come out from here. I'm going, I'm like singing, going, put that back, put that back, put that back. Man, you can't get that out. We get to the break in the song, or we get to the break in the set, and Bobby comes out. He's like, isn't this the coolest thing ever? And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Did you take it off a wall somewhere? And this is when I realized, and I've met other Olympians since then, that while the gold medal is awesome and they're glad they have it, or any Olympic medal, a lot of them don't display them, right? They don't have like trophy rooms where they go, there's my gold medal. They're a little bit more humble than that. And so Bobby goes, no, don't worry about it, man. And he goes, Mark's wife gave it to me. And I go, what do you mean she gave it to you? And he said, yeah, I'm just walking in there and I see her. And she says, thanks for coming and everything like that. And I looked at her and I said, hey, can you show me the hardware? And she goes, oh, yeah. And she goes and like, it's like, he said it was like in a drawer, just like a drawer in a buffet. And she goes and she opens this drawer and it's in a leather box. And she just flipped it to me and then walked outside. And he goes, I'm sitting there going, my God, I've got probably one of the greatest medals of all time in Olympic history right here. So he brought it out and then we put it on. He had it put on and then I took a picture. I had it put on. I had a picture and my son was there and he was a big hockey player at the time and he was 10 years old. And so he's there and he's wearing it. So that's like one of the coolest things in the world, is that my son gets to wear, or got to wear, the 1980 gold medal. And I don't know if he even remembers that. I'm going to have to mention that to him and say, I'll send him the picture of him and Mark Johnson, and he's got the medal on, and say, you got to go watch this on Netflix. Because he's, that's not even 1 degree of separation. He's right there with the, met him, had his picture taken with him. So he's right there with the, so there are no degrees of separation to anyone on the Olympic hockey team for that kid. And so he is, I'm going to have to send that out to him, because I think that would be pretty cool. But that is, of all the Olympic moments, I think that has to be like the greatest of all time. So let's see here. Oh, the news. That's what you're doing. Yes. In the next, let's see. Breeze blowing smoothly. I couldn't do this when I was on the radio. So I don't know. This show could be over in 15 minutes and it'll feel like an hour, or it'll be over in an hour and it'll feel like 15 minutes. I'm not exactly sure where that's going to go. So the Nancy Guthrie abduction investigation continues. It's getting stranger and stranger. It's such a terrible, terrible situation. Horrible. Now they're saying that they have found what they believe to be is a ransom note. And the police aren't talking about anything, because other than the ransom note had details in it that only the people that were there would have known, because they don't release information to the press. And so there's a full manhunt on. They have no suspects, but given the light of the media, where they come down on immigration, where she was kidnapped in Tucson, I certainly hope it wasn't someone who was in the country illegally. Why? I'm not hoping for anyone, to be perfectly honest with you. But in that instance, it's like, if it's somebody illegal, I would be very curious to see how the media would handle that story, seeing it happened to one of their own. It would be a very, very compelling thing to see what way the slant would go, if it would ever. BGM has 2 degrees of separation from Manuel Noriega. Okay. I love that. So yeah, for you guys that are out there, why don't you tell me how many degrees of separation you are from a celebrity? Man, especially one that is notorious. I mean, 2 degrees of separation from Manuel Noriega is kind of cool. To be perfectly honest with you, he's not cool, but it is kind of cool. In other news, I love this. Ryan Routh. I don't know if you know the name of who Ryan Routh is. There's Ryan. He was convicted of the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. That he was the guy that was hiding in the bushes on the golf course, right? So he was convicted of attempted assassination of the president and has been sentenced to life in prison. And I'm looking at that going, man, he's got no support, man. There's no uprising about him. And it dawned on me, he's just too ugly. If he was Luigi Mangione, man, there'd be chicks all over the place trying to get him out of jail, right? This guy didn't even really fire the gun anywhere, right? But they're saying attempted assassination. Mangione went and shot a guy in the back, and there are people that want to get him out of jail. I can't believe it. Only because he's cute. Ryan, I'm sorry, but you're just not good looking enough, and you're going to be someone's fish when you start serving your sentence. And then finally, more Epstein files. were released. And I love it when this stuff comes out because everyone just combs through it looking for Donald Trump's name. And you have to look at it from this perspective. And this is how I am. If he had done anything wrong that they could get him on, they would get him on it, right? With this thing, if there was anything in their files, I mean, they will stop at his opposition will stop at nothing, to get him. And I'm not defending him, okay? So let's throw that out there right now. I'm not sitting here being a always Trump or anything like that, but if they could have gotten him on something, they would have gotten him on something. Right, because they're very bloodthirsty. But every time these files come out, I love to see who's on them and the names. And we've got some new ones that have been on the files that have been released. We have names including Elon Musk, who apparently was emailing back and forth about coming over to his island from his island in the Caribbean. That's what rich people do. They just island hop to each other's islands. Elon Musk, Casey Wasserman, who is in charge of the LA Olympic Committee, and Bill Gates has, of course, been kicked around in that. And more Bill Gates information has come out that Bill Gates actually contracted an STD from a Russian hooker and gave it to his ex-wife. And they have emails where he was looking for antibiotics for himself and then to surreptitiously give them to his wife, Melinda, who apparently is going to come out. And she apparently is going to come out and speak to that issue. So I'm sitting back just waiting for that to happen. That is going to be absolutely fantastic. And then, of course, just more Prince Andrew. This guy is just killing me. This is the only. Meghan Markle has got to sit back and go, thank God for Andrew. Otherwise, I would just be getting crushed. And she deserves to get crushed. Anyone who says, when she starts dating Prince Harry, oh, I never even heard of your mother, okay, is lying. Everybody has heard of Princess Diana. But there was another article in the New York Post today implicating the prince, or the disowned prince, I believe. He's had his title stripped and everything taken away from him, his house, his job. I still have a house, so I got that going for me. But the key points that came out from this is the news story that broke about Andy. Because if I was in Britain, I would call him like Randy Andy or something like that. That's how the Brits like to write their headlines. It says an unidentified exotic dancer, described as a popular dancer at Rachel's. I know where that is. Made the allegations that she was involved in a tryst with Prince Andrew. She made the allegations back in 2011, and it didn't occur on the island. It occurred in his Palm Beach mansion, and she and the other dancers were offered $10,000 each to come to one of his parties and perform. And so, yeah, you got to jump at that kind of money. That's New Year's Eve money, and 10 grand each. Absolutely. But when she was there, she was escorted up to a bedroom where Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew were waiting. So she was dancing for the two men and got all the way down to, bra and underwear there. And Epstein and Andrew asked her for a threesome. and she said, "No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that because I was only hired to dance." And then they said Epstein reportedly told her he would pay her later. And I love this quote, prevailed upon her. So he convinced her, prevailed upon her to engage in various acts. Afterwards, she was driven back to the strip club, and Epstein gave her only $2,000. So he stiffed her, right? She was supposed to get 10 grand to dance, ended up having a menage with Prince Andrew, and then gets zipped $8,000. Well, her lawyer demanded 250 grand in hush money. So she would not go public, arguing. And here's another great line: arguing she had been treated like a prostitute. That's kind of what a prostitute is, having sex for money, isn't it? I think that would be the definition of a prostitute. Ben asks, am I buzzed yet? Yeah, it's kind of, the breeze. Yeah, I got a little clip going. Nice and relaxed. I no calories, no alcohol. A lot of people argue about, whether you should legalize marijuana and versus alcohol. And, we're an alcohol state. And the way that you look at it, and this is the way that I look at it, is I don't remember who the comic was who said this, and it was making a case for weed and not alcohol. Oh, it was Billy Gardell. And his line was, I've never seen anyone smoke a doobie and go crash his car into the side of a school bus. And he's absolutely right. He's absolutely right. You don't want to do anything. You just want to lay there and watch TV. I don't remember what he's saying. Belize Breeze. Get it at your local. There are other seltzers that I happen to enjoy considerably. However, they were former sponsors of my previous show, and therefore I am unable to mention them. So that's why I'm having the Belize Breeze. Belize. Is that a country or city? That's country, right? Yeah. Speaking of South America, I don't know if we were, but speaking of South America, I may be heading there in May, and I have to ask your opinion of this. I have enough miles to go to Costa Rica. Now, Johnny Vegas and Drew are going down there, and it's Drew's birthday, right? So they're going to head on down. And so you can fly southwest, and I can't believe it, but you can fly southwest into South America. Now, being unemployed, I don't have a lot of money, obviously, to go to Costa Rica, but I do have points. So I'm thinking that I will use points, but I've already used points to go to St. Patrick's Day in Boston. So it is quite the conundrum, because I might go to St. Patrick's Day in Boston to see Dropkicks. Hey, miss you too, Jeff. I might go to Boston to see Dropkicks because they do a big run at Boston for St. Patrick's Day. And Springsteen has been known to show up for one of these shows. And Lord knows he's trying to get out there and push his new song and everything, and his political stance, which he's done for the last few elections, but he's getting quite much more aggressive with it. And but Kenny said he was going to take me to meet Bruce on the last tour at a show in Boston, but it got canceled because of COVID. So I never got to meet him, but I was going to go out to see Dropkicks just on a whim that it might happen, right? But the Costa Rica thing came up. Now I don't have money to throw at a plane ticket, and most of my points were chewed up buying my plane ticket to Boston. So I told my son I'm coming out, and he forgot, obviously, and I got that reaction on the phone that you get from your kids when you tell them you're going to visit or you're going to do something, and they had something else planned, and they don't want to turn you down. And so I said, hey, yeah, okay, here are the dates that I was talking about that were coming out. And he goes, oh, yeah. And now I'm like, what? Well, you can come out. You can come out. And I said, I told you I was going to come out for this and we were going to do that. And he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, we're throwing a St. Patrick's Day party at our house. So that's enticing. Don't get me wrong. That's enticing to do that. But now I'm going, well, if he's throwing it at his house and they're playing the House of Blues, which is where I would go see him, and not at the other hall, I don't know what they call it, Liberty Hall or something like that. It's going to be something revolutionary because it's Boston, Tea Party Hall. I don't know. It's at the House of Blues, which is a pretty cool venue. But that's on St. Patrick's Day. So I wouldn't be able to take him because he's got a St. Patrick's Day party. So I can still turn in my points and get them back. Thankfully, I was smart enough to burn the extra points to upgrade to whatever the new upgrade is with Southwest, so you can get your points back if you cancel. And then it's like, am I going to go to Costa Rica? Sue has greenlit it. She said, you and Drew have been buddies for 30 years. It's his birthday. You kind of have to go. And it's like, yeah, but do I go see I haven't seen my son. He's living out there. We can rock it out there. I could go with Drew and Johnny Vegas. What do I do? What do I do? So Sue goes, well, pray and see what God says. And so last couple of nights I've, gone to sleep and, I prayed for guidance. I prayed for, some sort of an appearance. I prayed for a word from the Lord. And he goes, I don't know, man, this is a tough one. I got nothing from God yet. I'm going to try and do it tonight. If he doesn't answer me or he still hasn't made up his mind, then I will figure out something tomorrow. And of course, tomorrow on the show, I will fill you in on that. Tomorrow on the show, I got Pete Schwaba coming up, who's a stand-up comic out of Chicago. And he also is a screenwriter. And we'll talk to him about screenwriting. He's written a couple of great movies. One that's kind of a little hidden gem. I mean, it's not going to take Sundance by storm, but it's called The Godfather of Green Bay, which I've talked about how he is an absolute genius to write a love scene in between him and Lauren Holly. Wrote it into the script. And he also wrote It's a Guy Thing, which is another very, very popular movie. And he's worked on others. I don't know what else, but he's going to be on tomorrow. We're going to talk about screenwriting. What was I talking about before I said Pete was going to come on? Oh, I was going to decide. Yeah. I'll decide tomorrow whether I'm going to Costa Rica or not. And then, okay. So Anyway, the Olympics. Do we have anyone else out there? Kids can be such a pain in the ass. Yeah, they can. Why am I putting a hard candy in? I'm not going to put a hard candy. I'm on the air, for God's sakes. So anyway, anywho, I finally have kind of gotten out of the house, right after the cold snap has stopped, and it's nice. It was only 18 degrees, but it felt like shorts weather after the below zero stuff. And I made a run to Costco. And there's a couple things that I am not happy with Costco. Now you've got the standard things, which I will get to in a minute. But Costco is like Walgreens, right? You knew it was like, it's like Walgreens and a Catholic mass, where you knew where everything was, right? And then out of the blue, without any warning, someone changes it, right? It's like with the whole Catholic mass, though I had a long break before last time I went to church, and when I went back to church, it was a long time off, right? And so being an altar boy, I had the whole Catholic mass memorized, for God's sakes. And when the priest would say, peace be with you, you would I say, and also with you. Not anymore. And they changed that. It's like I had it. I knew exactly what I was supposed to say. I knew exactly when I was supposed to say it, and you changed it, and you screwed me up, right? Costco did the same thing. They changed it up. So I go in and I want to get, in Walgreens too, you go into Walgreens, everything's exactly where it's supposed to be. Quick Trip, everything is where it's supposed to be. Okay, you walk in, I can go here, here, and here. So I go into Costco and I want to get notepads. And when you would go in, you'd walk to where the rack started. And the first rack was always printer ink, just a whole wall of printer ink. And then on the other side were notepads, folders, pens, pencils, all highlighters, all of that stuff, office equipment. So I get there and I go to that part of the store and it's not there. Well, okay. Well, where is it? I'm going to have to go find it. And started searching and went up and down the aisles. And this is a rule of Costco. And I may start enforcing this somehow. I don't know, but it annoys me to no end. When walking through Costco, you must obey the laws of the road. And what I mean about that is, just like you're driving a car, you go down the right side of the aisle, you come back on the left side of the aisle, right? You just have to think of it as a two-way road. You go down the right side, the other people come down the left. They're coming down on your left side, but it's their right side. So you always stay on the right side. So when you're making a left-hand turn into a new aisle, well, you don't go to the close one. We're not driving in Britain, in the United Kingdom. No, you make the wide turn like you would, and you go to the right lane. People don't know this. And there was a woman, and I'm trying to get through, and then they get pissed at you. So there's a woman who just comes to a dead stop in the middle of the aisle and starts, texting on her phone. Now, I mean, dead square in the middle of the aisle. And it's like, what the hell? You got to pick a side, one side or the other, right? You got to, and I am going to stop someone and say, listen, I think we're going to have a chat here. You can't just stop in the middle of the aisle. It's the same thing with a grocery store. You just can't stop. If something catches your eye on the other side of the Costco aisle, it's your responsibility, just like as if you were in a car, to perform a Y turn and get on the right side of the road, right? It's not, you can't leave your cart there and then walk over. You definitely can't pull your cart over to that side, right? You got to do the Y turn and then move around and go back on the right side. You can't, if you go over, now you're going against traffic. Now your entire cart is going against traffic and you could cause a collision. Don't even get me going on right in the middle. Now, when I go to Costco, I'm out, I start, go up that first middle aisle, and then I weave my way through till you get to the liquor. I generally avoid the food because I don't need that much I don't need that much in vegetables. It's just, Sue and I, so we don't need 400 oranges. So I'm generally not in the food unless it's like to pick up a rotisserie chicken, because those are pretty damn good. And I've gone there and gotten like tenderloins and ribs and stuff like that. But they've got great soups. Who would have thought? They have really great soups, but I don't need a bucket of soup. So I guess I'm missing out. But I go and I weave the aisles. Then I go up past where the meat counter is, and it's always on the other side of the women's winter jackets where they have all the, the children's books, right? And then go around the back to where the cat litter is, and then I work my way back through those aisles. And then it's a left-hand turn back into the clothing aisles. But you're still staying on the right side, back and forth in the clothing aisles. And I don't need a Puma fleece jogger, so I did not buy anything today. And then it's into the frozen section, and you keep doing that, and it's into then all the dry goods. But I wanted to get notepads. There was I walked this whole store, and I'm like, well, maybe they moved them. Let's go see. I walked the entire store. There were no notepads, no pens, nothing. Nothing. I'm like, I didn't want to ask anyone because of a situation that I will tell you in a second, of a question that I overheard, and I just about crapped my socks when this person said this. So I just walked around and could not find it. I had a difficulty finding, they moved all the coffee too. Now the coffee's over on the other side by the coffee makers. I don't need a coffee maker. I just need coffee. Put the coffee where the rest of the coffee is supposed to be. Anywho, so I can't find the coffee, but I found the coffee. I can't find any notepads, so I'm out notepads, right? So then I go into the dry goods aisle, and there's a woman there, and I could not believe this question was asked. I could not believe this question was asked. So I'm looking at something, and I'm just kind of standing there, but I'm on my own side of the aisle. She was on the other side where she was supposed to be. But I could hear the conversation quite clearly. And I was stopped, and I was looking at something, and there's a woman talking to one of the guys who was stocking the shelves. He was Asian. And normally you say he was Asian, not that it matters, but he was Asian, and in this case, it really matters. So she wasn't old, because when I told Sue this story, Sue said, was she really old? Was she really old? And I'm like, no, she wasn't. She was probably 50s, maybe. That's not old at all. So this is what I hear. So the guy is stocking shelves, and the woman comes up, Asian guy. Woman comes up and looks at him and says this, "Oh, you would be a good person to ask." All right. And I kind of turn around and I look and I see, oh, we're asking a guy who's stocking stuff. And I figured she was going to ask where something could be found, but she didn't. She says, "Oh, you look like you look like someone I should ask. I'm sure you know." No, she didn't say, "I'm sure you know." She goes, "Can you tell me what kind of rice you like?" And I was just, I couldn't believe it. And it's not like you would go and say, "Hey, can you tell me what kind of rice is the best here? You know, which one?" Because you get all your rices. You only had white rice, but you get your jasmine and your basmati and all that stuff like that. It wasn't so much that she asked about rice. It was the first line that she used before she talked to him, where she said, "Oh, you would be a good person to ask. Why? Because he's Asian?" Like, I hope it was just a slip. I hope it was just a slip of the tongue. And it's like, not like, "Oh, you would be a good person to ask because you work here." I'm hoping she just made that mistake, really meant because you work here and not because he was Asian. Although I will say this much, watching someone look at a guy who's Asian and say, "You would be a good person to ask. Can you tell me what kind of rice you like?" It's kind of funny, overhearing that. It's not funny for her. It's not funny for him. It was kind of funny for me because I'm like, I can't believe you just flipping did this. Asked where the rice was. But I got my stuff. Did not find any notepads. None. No notepads, no printer ink, nothing. No business supplies whatsoever there anymore. And checked out with my thing of coffee. I have like the oddest shopping habits. Everyone goes to Costco to stock up. I can go to Costco and pick up one thing. So in my cart was a box of coffee, little K cups, some frozen. It's kind of wild because this is try and connect these three items. Thankfully, well, maybe it is. It's like the people that you would see when I talked about this on To Catch a Predator. And they say, "No, I just came here to warn them." And it's like, "Oh, with strawberry vodka and fireworks and condoms. All right." But I meant, so I buy, this is it. These are the only things. I just go pick. I have frozen strawberries, a box of coffee, and a 175 of Four Roses bourbon. That's it. Go to checkout. People have got carts overflowing. And well, first of all, if you got a cart that's overflowing, don't go to the self-checkout. Please. That's another Costco rule. Same thing. Brett says, "I can go and get water at Costco and nothing else." Yeah, I remember one time being in Phoenix and getting a look because I had to check out, and I was going to Phoenix. And before I went back to my apartment, I stopped at Costco, got the Kirkland vodka and a box of Cheez-Its and a pair of sweat shorts. That was it. I could just go and pick. So then you got to wait for the guy who has to come up and ring it up. Although I did find this, and I can't believe it. Woodman's in Menominee Falls. If you go into the liquor department or into the liquor store part and pick something up and go to the self-checkout and just bang, you don't have to do anything else. And I was like, what? Can't believe that. Can't do anything else. I like going to Costco. I just wish Costco would pick up on the technology that Sam's Club has. Sam's Club is the most awesome thing in the world because you got the app you can use for gas. You just scan a code. But the best thing about it is in the Sam's Club app, all you have to do is hit the barcode on the package, throw it in your cart. And when you're stocked up, you can check out right from the app. And you don't even have to go through and use your Apple Pay or whatever. Check in, boom, check out. And then they give you a little QR code on your phone. You show it to the person on the way out, and they go, boom, you're good. You can go. That I wish they would pick up that technology, because then it would be the happiest place on earth. It might even display Snack City at Fry's on 92nd and Violinda as the happiest place on earth. So today we're going to keep moving along with a little story here from, and I love these things. This falls under, for me, it falls under the umbrella of, and then I have to do here. Before I get to that, I'll give you my weight loss update. Yesterday, I was at 217.3 pounds. And I have since, no, I was at 217.8. I think. Yeah, that's today's. I was at 217.8. Today, I am at 217.3. So I'm a half a pound down between yesterday and today. So high five me for that. There it is. There's the KB fat chart. I started at 217.8 yesterday. My goal weight is 200. Today's weight, 217.3. 217.3. And there you have it. So I'm down a half a pound. Big win for the program. And I know I've got more work to do. Unlike those people on my 600-pound life, I'm going to do a whole episode of my 600-pound life. But I like the people who are supposed to lose 65 pounds or whatever, and they go in and they lose 3. And doctor knows, what is the problem? I don't know what problem you have. You only lost 3 pounds. Right. And they said, they never cheat. They go, I only cheated once every 2 hours. And then they walk out and they justify it by going, they're supposed to lose 60. They lose 3. And they justify it by saying things like, well, I know Dr. Now is disappointed in me. I was supposed to lose 60 pounds and I only lost 3. Well, I don't care what he thinks. I'm still making progress. Okay. Wow. So I would only have 2.5 more pounds to go to meet up with that woman on 600-pound life who took her 2 months to lose 3. So I'm down a half a pound. I could nut this by Sunday to be down 3 pounds. So my goal weight again at 200 pounds. But today we're getting to my other favorite part of the show. And I've got a lot of favorite parts of the show. And of course, remember that this part of the show believes breeze blowing in. The 25 milligram seltzer show, which I would not be allowed to do on the air. So we're getting to what color is the sky on your planet? And I love these stories. These stories are like this, are right up there with the fireworks accidents around the 4th of July and people burning down a carport trying to make a frozen turkey in deep frying it. Those are my 2 favorite disasters of all time. But this one, we go out to Milton, Massachusetts for this, where a Massachusetts homeowner accidentally ignited his house on fire, and the flames rapidly spread into the attic, creating a major blaze that required the assistance from multiple neighboring towns. The fire department chief said firefighters initially expected a minor incident, but it had spread so much that the whole attic was fully involved after removing gutters, and so they had to rip the roof off. And what one witness described seeing flames in the gutters, and then smoke was coming out from everywhere, and before you know it, the entire roof was consumed. And crews had a battle for 5 hours in freezing temperature. So there were no injuries reported. Now, you might be thinking, okay, how did he start his roof on fire? Well, Boston got crushed with about 16 inches of snow about a week ago. And we all know that you do have to be careful when you get that much snow for your roof. And you have to make sure that a lot of people have roof rakes. And they're able to, they'll scrape it down. But this guy decided to take a different approach. And he accidentally ignited the house while using a blowtorch to melt the ice from its roof during the frigid winter weather. Using a blowtorch. And all I can say to that dude is, what color is the sky on your planet? A blowtorch. Now, I've seen some pretty kick-ass uses for blowtorches. I've seen people use blowtorches on driveways, which is pretty good, but it looks cool. If you got snow on there, just melt it off. But I will say this, driveways generally not flammable. I have not seen a flammable driveway. But that drone too, there's a flamethrower drone for people that work in the woods and stuff like that. That I would just love to have that around the neighborhood, to have that flamethrower drone. But anyway, I'm about to wrap up today. Yeah, this moved kind of slow. Thanks for sticking around. I'll have to go back and watch this to know what I talk about. But I always like to start, I always like to end the show with my top 5 things. And so what my top 5 things are today are my top 5 favorite celebrity names that have shown up in the Epstein files. Now, this does not mean they went to the island. Okay. It does not mean they went to the island. It does not mean that there is any wrongdoing, right? Martha Stewart's name showed up in the Epstein files just because she had made a phone call to somebody to see if she could get his number. That's it. So it doesn't mean they've done anything wrong. It just means that their name showed up in the files. So these are my top 5 favorite celebrities who have shown up in the Epstein files. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to stay away from anything political. I'm not going to go down the Clinton road. I'm not going to go down the Trump road. There's no reason to do it. It makes literally no sense in the world, because if stuff went down, and then deal with it then. Right. So these are only names that popped up and I went either, yeah, I could see that, or no way. So there was like one of 2 ways you could go with it. Well, as a matter of fact, yeah, there's only one, no way. And there's 4. I could see that. And 1, I saw that. So we're going to start off coming in the number 5 spot for my favorite celebrity names who have shown up in the Epstein files. David Blaine. I don't know why his name showed up. David Blaine is in there. David Blaine just kills me. It's like walks up to a guy on the street, doesn't touch him or anything like that. Next thing you know, he opens his phone. The guy opens his phone. He shows a picture of his girlfriend, and David Blaine lifts up his chest, shirt up his chest, and it's tattooed on there. Okay. He's also like the most annoying guy in the world. And if you ever get a chance, go to Funny or Die and look up David Blaine's Street Magic, where they parody it. Mikey Day is one of those guys. And that's where Cheez-Its comes from. So number 5 is David Blaine. Maybe he just was hired at a party to do sleight of hand. Maybe he was doing table magic. Although I hate when you would go to the safe house, or they have a magician there. Anyone who's got table magic, and they come up, hey, can I do a trick? And it's like, no, get the hell away from me and give me my watch back, right? Because I know you grabbed my hand here and you slipped it off on the other side. Now Okay, just get your demon. So number 5 is David Blaine. Coming in at number 4 is a very interesting one, I think. Mick Jagger. Now Mick Jagger, no, I have 2. I don't see it. He was probably just there. So Mick Jagger's sitting there with Ghislaine Maxwell, who is a shapeshifter, by the way. I cannot tell if she is hot or not, or was. Okay, I can't tell if she was good looking or not. But there's Mick sitting there with Ghislaine Maxwell. So he comes in at number 4. Coming in at number 3, and this is a beauty. Okay. Coming in at number 3 is Michael Jackson. Look at this photo. I mean, it's flipping Michael Jackson, for God's sakes. Okay. And he's wearing whiteface. Michael Jackson is wearing whiteface. It's like, it's got to be like, was this a Halloween party and he went as Beetlejuice? What the hell is going on there? He's wearing complete whiteface in the number 3 spot. And then I can see that's one of those where you go, yeah, you know, you might be sitting there and someone says Michael Jackson. You go, no, yeah, I guess I probably could. I probably can't see that. Coming in at number 2 is a man who is definitely has been shown to be attracted to very young girls. Woody Allen. Because, of course, we all remember when he was married to Mia Farrow, he fell in love with his stepdaughter, Soon Yi, who is right there in this photo. But they've been together for 30 some years, so it must be love, right? But I love when you look at this, Woody Allen, the floppy hat is a great look, but take a look at the pants. How high the pants are pulled up, and the belt. The pants and the belt. The actual top of the pant is over the belt, and the pants are way too high. I wish I could see the full body shot of this, because he's got black shoes, big clunky black shoes and white socks, and those are high water pants. They're probably, we used to call them flood pants. And that there's a good 3 inches showing between the bottom of his pants leg and his shoe. So Woody Allen, who, by the way, if you get a chance, go back and listen to his stand-up. It was freaking incredible. And he has done some fantastic movies too, by the way. I think Take the Money and Run is one of my favorite Woody Allen movies, but I like many of them. And then coming in at number 1, I talked about him before, but this guy is the GOAT. I mean, he is the Epstein GOAT. And it's, Prince Andrew, for God's sakes. Now, I did not put the black boxes there. Those were put there in the, they were put there in the publication where I got this picture from. And he is like kneeling over what appears to be a passed out girl on the floor. This is taken from 2 angles. Apparently it's not that pressing of an issue, or not that big of a deal that she's, prone on the floor, because look at the left picture on the far left and go to the number 1 and go straight up to the top corner of the page. And whoever he's with is kicking back barefoot with his feet up on the table, just hanging out. With her feet up on the dining room table, while Prince Andrew is attending to a passed out woman on the floor. At least we think he's attending to her, but it's like he's kind of like, come on, get up, come on, get up, and he's trying to awaken her, but no, she is not going to. But we don't know who that is. But damn, Andrew, you are the GOAT of Jeffrey Epstein. One after another. You keep knocking them down. God bless you, Prince Andrew. God bless you. And so those are my top 5 all-time worldwide celebrity names that have shown up in the Epstein files. Like I said, we're gonna round it up today. I'm gonna go back and look at this tomorrow and see exactly how slow the show moved. In fact, I guarantee I won't do this again, but I wasn't on the air. I figure out why not? Why not put a little clip on? Why not get a little buzzed? They can't fire me, right? Because I'm my own boss, so I can't fire me. So anyway, coming up on the show tomorrow, we'll have more top fives. And also Pete Schwaba is going to be my guest. Pete Schwaba, stand-up comic, Hollywood screenwriter, radio personality. Left LA, moved back up to Marinette, Wisconsin. And so Pete is going to be on the show tomorrow. So welcome back. Tell all your friends. Remember to hit the subscribe and like button. I need 133 more subscribers, and I can start to be considered for monetization, which I'm not going to get rich doing this, but I can make a little walking around money. So to that end, have a good day. Hopefully we'll see you again tomorrow. And as always, make good choices.